Alright guys, I'm going to just get into these real quick. I'm going to try to keep these under 10 minutes. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use an edge finder. We're going to be using a 200 thousandths edge finder, a half-inch edge finder, and for my part, I'm going to be using my 123 block as a reference part. So I'm going to be loading up the 200 thousandths edge finder. I'm going to load it up to the drill chuck. Okay. We're going to move it over. We're going to jog the machine over. I'm going to use my 123 block as my reference part. Get it real close. Now we're going to turn on the spindle. So we're going to set this to 800 RPMs. Each one of them. Let's see if I can get this in the picture here. Edge finders have a preferred RPM for accuracy, so I usually use 800 RPMs. So let's put this up to 800. You see here, 800 RPM. Start at the spindle, and then I'm gonna jog over to it. I'm using thousandths. We're just getting close to it. You can see it kick out, so that's letting you know that you're at the edge. So I usually just back up a couple thousandths, reset it, then just go back in until it kicks out. You're going 1,000th at a time. That's it right there. That's your edge. So I usually just go up on the Z axis, go up, make sure I clear the part. See, what I like to do is I like to get my position, and I like to just zero it out here, zero my position, because I like to visually see that I'm gonna move over half of the diameter of my edge finder. So my edge finder is a 200 thousandths edge finder. So I go over to my x-axis, and then I go over to my 10 thousandths, and I'll go over 100 thousandths. I know here that I moved over half the diameter of my edge finder. This is a 200 thousandths edge finder. So I know that I moved it over. I physically moved it over. I can go over to my work offsets. And then G54, 55, 56 is already taken up. So I'll put it in G57. So x-axis, G57, and I'll teach 0 because that's the 0 point. And then enter. And you see here. So let me do that over. Let me do that. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing for my y-axis. So I'll go over. Okay, bring it over. We'll go down. And I'm going to bring it close to the part, and then I'll switch over to thousandths. And again, I'm going to touch the 123 block. I'm going to let it kick out. I already touched the edge, so let me back up a couple thousandths. Make sure it's reset. 1, 2, 3. That's my edge right there. I already caught the edge, so then I'll go up. I can go to 10 thousandths. Go up. Change it back to my y-axis. And then we can zero it out here on my position. So we know it's 0. Now I can just go minus 100. So now I know that I physically moved it 100 thousandths. That's half the diameter of my edge finder. So I can go over to, I mean, you could stop the spindle, but let's go over to our work offsets, G57, and we're going to go teach 0 to the center, and we see it right there. So we see that I inputted something into the work offset. So I'll go back to my position page, and then from here, because I put it, it's always going to default to G54 offset. So what I like to do is just go to MDI. I don't know if you can see it on camera. You can't. I'll press the MDI button, and then I'll get into the little menu thing, the page, and then I go G57 input, and then you can cycle start it, and then you'll see it up in the modal right here. And you see that it changed right there. Do you know that you're in your G57? So here, I could just, you could reset it, and then I like to just move it over manually. So now that I'm in my G57, my position is X0, Y0, and then you can see it here that I'm at the edge of the part. That's how you can double check always. You could always double check that way that you picked up your offset correctly, and you have no doubts that you picked it up correctly. And this is something I used to do when I first started, just to make sure that I actually picked up my offset correctly. So just in case I run into any other problems, I know that I picked up my offset correctly, and that's one less thing I have to worry about. So I know that I picked it up correctly, and I can move forward with my setup. So let me get the half-inch edge finder. So I like to just zero out the spindle, orientate the spindle. That's an M19. Orientate spindle. Take that one out. And load up the half-inch. So all these edge finders, you know, this is a little mechanism just as it'll click over once you touch an edge. So tighten that up in there. Same process with the half-inch, exactly the same. But this time, half of this edge finder will be a quarter, so 0.250, so 250. So I'll bring it over, start up the spindle, go 1000s, bring it over, take over, come back, reset it, and then one at a time. 1, 2. That's pretty much it right there. Go up on the Z. I zero this out. I mean, you can obviously see it right here too as well. I mean, it's 250. Zero out my position so I know what I'm moving over. So I'll go over the 250. There, go over to my work offsets. I'll input this one in G59 just so you can see where it's at. Teach 0. There it is. It's only a 1,000th difference. Nothing. That's pretty much nothing. I'll do that for the Y as well. Bring it up close. 1, 2, 3. That's it right there. Go up. And once you know how to do this, pretty easy. Go back to my position page, zero that out, move it in to 250. You know you physically moved it 250. You can see it here move to 250. Go over to your work offsets, get your Y, teach it 0. So right on. You can see it just right there. I mean, you could, very simple to use this tool. You know that you moved over. See, we've input this offset G59, so you could go over and you can MDI this. You can put G59 input and cycle start, and you can see here that it changed to G59, and you can just move it over. If you straighten out the edge finder, you just see it's hidden. It's right in the corner. That's how you know you picked up your offsets right. Once you're an experienced machinist, I mean, if you've been machining for a long time, you can just literally teach it whatever you need to move it. So something like this is probably too time consuming. But if you're barely starting out, this is perfect for you. I mean, you always know that you're picking up your offset correctly. And that's pretty much it. All right, guys, see you on the next one.